Here's Joe Biden claiming that Democrats don't question election results.
This is a nation that believes in the rule of law. We do not repudiate it. This is a nation that respects free and fair elections. We honor the will of the people. We do not deny
it. We do not deny it. Unless, of course, 2 weeks out from a pivotal midterm election, we get the sense based on polling that we're about to be spanked like the bad little girls we are, at which point we start making excuses and planting the seeds for more election denial, just as we did after Donald Trump won. That's exactly what's going on now. Even as they try to destroy the careers and tear down the character of people who ask honest questions about the last election. And that would include Ron Johnson, who is the senator from Wisconsin, the Republican. One of the very few Republicans in the entire U.S. Senate who has actually improved every year that he served there. That's the opposite of the normal progression for Republicans in the Senate, in case you haven't noticed. Now, Ron Johnson is running against someone who's legitimately far out. His name is Mandela Barnes. On Twitter, Barnes once rang in the new year by praising, and few politicians do this, by praising Iran's Ayatollah because he supports BLM. And we're quoting. The first tweet of 2015 from @Khamenei IR is Black Lives Matter. Let that sink in. May this be a most wonderful year for you and yours, Barnes wrote. So he's got the Ayatollah vote. Barnes also wants to abolish ICE, defund the police, and end cash bail. So that would result in further chaos and the total destruction of American society. It might be worth following up on that. But no, the media in Wisconsin are still talking about Ron Johnson's election denial. Here's his hometown newspaper, which no one reads, in fairness, attacking him the other day for it. Quote, election deceiver, science fabulist, billionaire benefactor. After 12 years, it's time to term limit Senator Ron Johnson. So again, just to be clear, Democrats are sending people to prison for questioning the last election, trying to prevent people from getting elected in the midterm election for questioning the last election, while at the very same time telling you that the 2016 election was rigged, the midterm will likely be rigged, and we know for a fact the 2024 election is not on the level. How does this work exactly? Senator Ron Johnson joins us tonight. Senator, thanks so much for coming on. Is it a little weird to be attacked by your hometown newspaper as an election denier on the very same day that the people who run the Democratic Party are preemptively denying the outcome of an election that hasn't even happened yet?
Well, hello, Tucker. Those are some of the better headlines I received from the mainstream media here in Wisconsin. Now, let's face it. What is happening here is a classic tactic of the left. Falsely accuse your political opponents of doing exactly what you do. Let's face it, how many leading Democrats said that the 2016 election was legitimate? No, they spent 4 years trying to overturn it, a corrupt FBI investigation. And it was the complicit and corrupt media that allowed all this to go on. They were fed all the false information. You know, why haven't they exposed the people that fed them false information? What about the 570 riots during the summer of 2020? 2,000 law enforcement officers injured, $1 to $2 billion worth of property damage, couple dozen people killed, including 2 people here in Kenosha. You know, why don't they talk about that? No, all they do is focus on January 6th. I think this has always been a massive diversionary operation against their or from their own wrongdoing. So again, classic operation of the left. It's a classic tactic, and unfortunately, they have the complicit and corrupt media that's backing them up.
So you're saying things out loud that you're not supposed to say out loud. We interviewed earlier today Dr. Robert Epstein, who is a professor of psychology who studies Google, and he told us that he has never seen Google put its sizable thumb on the scale more aggressively than in Wisconsin right now. That Google is trying to lose you the race and get Mandela Barnes elected because they're so threatened by the things that you are saying. Are you aware of this, and what's your response to it?
No, I'm fully aware, and I know of his work. You know, he's talking about how Google uses their search to manipulate opinion, how they only text, for example, get out the vote to Democrat supporters. We saw Mark Zuckerberg use his Zuckerbucks, completely took over the Green Bay election in 2020, and yet this is the safest, most secure election? Of course it wasn't. There were all kinds of irregularities. I held a hearing in December of 2020 because I was not going to scornfully dismiss the legitimate concerns of tens of millions of Americans because observers weren't able to observe. Here in Wisconsin, we had a legislative audit bureau, nonpartisan, bipartisan audit of our election, 31 recommendations because things went wrong. We had our Wisconsin Election Commission issue guidances contrary to state law, election clerks, procedures contrary to state law, and yet we're all supposed to say, oh, no, it's the most secure election. It wasn't.
No, it wasn't. And they absolutely hate you for saying that out loud. And that's why we're certainly rooting for you. Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, good luck in that race.
Have a good night.
Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the world and changing your life. From Tucker Carlson Tonight.